Morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone from whichever city, whichever country you're dialing in from. It's a wonderful Wednesday evening, and we are so happy to have you here. I have with me folks who are joining me from Pittsburgh University, Pitt Business School, and I'm going to be talking a lot more about that. But very quickly in the chat window, if you could let me know which city you're dialing in from. You can see quite a few of you who have already tuned in. Like I said, we have people here from the USA who've joined us and are going to be talking to us about their lovely school and the offerings that it has. But we also love to know where our audiences are coming in from. So let us know which city or which country you're dialing in from. We have someone from Kolkata in the chat. If the others could also let us know which city you're dialing in from. Very, very interesting topic today, from classroom to career. How Pitt Business prepares you for what next. So what is this topic all about? It's about how the University of Pittsburgh School of Business transforms academic learning into career success by giving you hands-on experience as a student, offering you dedicated career coaching. They have some very strong employer connections and a powerful alumni network that supports students every step of the way. So you could say it's your launchpad for a global career with the deep industry connections that they have and the strong alumni network at 90 plus countries. We are also going to be having an alum joining us today on the call who's going to be speaking a lot more about his experience, right? So, in the meantime, we have people who've joined in from Nigeria, from Pakistan, people from India. Great. I can see we're just about to cross 200 odd. I'm going to wait for a few more of you to tickle in. Like I said, the folks from the University of Pittsburgh are all here. And when we get started, they're all going to introduce themselves. And I'm sure you're all very excited to know more about the university, learn about its offerings, etc. But before I get started, what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly run my poll question for this evening today on the screen in front of you. As a student, when choosing a business school, which of these would matter most to you? And before I go into it, the answer could be all of the above, but let's pick one which really matters to you. Is it hands-on learning that goes beyond the classroom? Is it strong industry connections with real access to professionals? Is it the global exposure and a diverse peer network? Is it a powerful alumni networks that opens doors? Or is it strong career placements and job outcomes? So when you are looking at a business school, which of these factors would matter the most to you? I'm sure a lot of you would be, hey, Sabahat, it's all of the above. And I understand that, but let's pick one that really sort of cracks the deal for you. I'm going to run the poll question for a few more seconds on the screen in front of you to all those who've joined in. When choosing a business school, which of these factors matter most to you? The options, as I mentioned, are hands-on learning, strong industry connections, global exposure, powerful alumni network, and strong career placements and job opportunities. I'm going to keep this running for a few more seconds before I go and announce the results. Great. Quite a few of you have answered the poll. I'm going to go ahead and publish the results on the screen in front of you. Well, we have a tie between strong industry connections with real access to professionals and strong placements and job outcomes, followed by hands-on learning experience, global exposure, and a powerful alumni network. Great. Thank you so much for everyone who participated in the poll. In the course of the next few minutes, you're going to know why University of Pittsburgh has to be your number one stop, because they cover all of this and so much more. Without further ado, I'm going to bring in Gina now, who's going to start talking to you more about what the school has to offer. Gina, over to you.
Yes, thank you. I'm Gina Cicchetti. I'm one of the Senior Associate Directors of Admissions here. And while we'll touch upon admissions very briefly, I hope you enjoy the chat that we have scheduled today. You know, it's about your whole career, from student success to preparing you for career success. So I'm going to hand it over to my colleague, Laura, as I go ahead and share my screen.
Great, thanks, Gina. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, depending on where you're at in the world. We are so excited to have you with us today to talk a little bit about this topic of kind of bridging from the classroom to your career and what we can do at Pitt Business to help you do that successfully. You'll see here we have a number of folks that are going to share some input and some reflections with you today to let you know about all of the different both experiences that we offer, but then also the support that we provide to you to make sure that those experiences are successful. Next slide. So here at the University of Pittsburgh School of Business, we recognize that, We recognize that students seek out a graduate business degree because they see it as a path to achieving a particular career goal. Our poll results this morning showed this. One of our top answers was strong career outcomes. We know that you're doing this because you have that career goal in mind. And gaining knowledge of business theories, formulas, and frameworks is certainly part of that path, but that's not enough alone. Any good business school is going to provide you with that knowledge. You can also find it in books, videos, online tutorials. With that knowledge so readily available, having it is not enough to set you apart in the job market. That's why applied experiences are so important. And applied experiences are really fundamental to our programs here at Pitt. We've long been recognized as a leader in experiential learning because we recognize that gaining these experiences is what distinguishes our graduates in the job market. Here at Pitt, we provide the opportunity to learn from world-class subject matter experts across the breadth of business disciplines. And then we take it one step further and offer a robust portfolio of applied experiences that allow you to practice and put into action the theories, formulas, and frameworks that you've learned in the classroom. These experiences serve as the bridge from your classroom learning to your career success. Our location in Pittsburgh, next slide, uniquely situates us to provide you with these experiences. We also saw in the poll at the beginning of our session that many of you value strong industry partners. Pittsburgh is home to the headquarters of many Fortune 500 companies across industries such as financial services, manufacturing, healthcare, and retail and consumer goods. Next slide. The city also has a significant presence from a variety of major companies across health and life sciences, technology, robotics, and automation, which align with Pitt Business's strategic emphases of digital transformation and the business of health. We leverage our connections with these companies and more, next slide, to provide the breadth and depth of applied experiences that distinguish a Pitt Business education. In a few moments, you'll hear from my colleague, Bill McShane, about not only the experiences we offer, but how we structure them to support your continued learning and professional development. Next slide. We don't settle, though, for just providing you these applied experiences. We know that these experiences are only going to contribute to your career success if you can strategically leverage them and confidently communicate their value to potential employers. And much like a bridge needs to be built on solid footing, our career development staff provides support to students so that they can best translate these experiences into career success. When you come to Pitt, you can rest assured that our career development staff will support you throughout the process, from strategizing which experiences best align with your goals, to connecting with resources to support your success during the experiences, and then helping you to articulate the value of the experience, not only for you, but for the companies that you'll be applying to for internships and full-time roles. Later on in our presentation, you'll hear from my colleague Jennifer O'Toole about the many ways that we help students like you capitalize on applied experiences to achieve their career goals. But before we get to that, let us tell you a little bit more about the applied experiences themselves. And for that, I'm going to hand things over to my colleague, Bill McShane, Associate Director for Integrated Learning.
Thanks, Laura. As Laura noted, I'm the Associate Director for Integrated Learning here at the School of Business. And over the next few slides, I'm going to highlight some of those applied experiences or experiential learning opportunities that will be open to you as a student in our program. For us, experiential learning enables you to apply concepts and theories from your courses to real-world challenges. These opportunities allow you to gain critical, technical, and transferable skills that will be relevant to your post-School of Business career. At the top here on this slide, I wanted to showcase some of the emerging trends happening not only here in Pittsburgh, but indeed globally, and how we are evolving our program to help you succeed in these spaces. With the rise of generative AI and its impact on the future of business, one way you can hone your knowledge and skills in this technology is through our graduate certificate in Foundations of AI for Business. This graduate certificate is a 15-credit program taken as part of your degree and designed to provide an advanced, comprehensive, and ethical skill set for leading AI implementation in business settings. It includes courses such as Technical Foundations of Generative AI and Deploying AI for Business, Strategy, Design, and Execution. Through this certificate, you will understand not only the design principles and governing frameworks for AI, but also how to scale and implement this technology enterprise-wide. Second, one trend of note here in Pittsburgh is that nearly 50% of the venture capital coming into our region is in the health and life sciences sector. We are also home to leading medical schools and innovations in biotechnology, as well as unique industry clusters around next-generation therapies, connected medical devices, and data-driven healthcare. What is distinctive about our program is that we are providing you with opportunities to experience this slice of Pittsburgh's economy. One way we are doing this is through a new course, Scaling Innovation Studio. This course seeks to contribute to solving the question of how do we scale breakthrough innovations so that they make it beyond the lab to the market to serve the global public. Over the course of a semester, you work with a team of other students and an innovator from the University of Pittsburgh. These are truly early-stage startups, often at the cutting edge of medical diagnostics, interventions, and beyond. In this course, you will answer questions such as, is the intended market large enough to attract funding at scale? Will your market grow fast enough to sustain customer and investor interest? And is your business model economically viable at scale? Finally, our MBA capstone tackles issues central to innovation. More than simply a synonym for invention, innovation really is the cornerstone for continuous development and the evolution of companies. This course encourages integrating the knowledge and skills learned throughout your MBA core curriculum while focusing on enhancing your ability to see and implement innovations in your immediate environment. This is an immersion course that exposes you directly to the innovation ecosystem beyond the Pittsburgh region. For example, our most recent experience took students to the financial hub of Charlotte, North Carolina, to visit organizations such as Wells Fargo, the front office of the NFL team, the Carolina Panthers, and the wealth management organization, TIAA. As you noted on the poll earlier, in addition to meeting emerging trends, on the next slide, we showcase how we look to incorporate our industry partners and companies directly into the classroom experience. In Consulting Field Project, you are taught management consulting as a problem-solving framework, allowing you to apply the analytical tools and concepts you have learned to these real-world problems. You are formed into a student consulting team supported by a dedicated faculty advisor and an executive coach. Your team is then matched to a client organization that has provided a project of immediacy. Throughout the term, you work on this project to deliver a successful consulting engagement that adds measurable value to the client. One recent project looked at enhancing workforce scheduling at a local advanced manufacturer, while another analyzed Gen Z travel trends and provided research on how to best provide risk management guidance to this market segment. In Six Sigma theory and practice, you learn a data-driven approach to process improvement. That is, how do you define, measure, analyze, improve, and finally control a process? You are also guided by a mentor. And if you earn a B or better in this course, you receive a green belt certification in the process. An example of a client we are working with this semester is a company called MSA Safety, which is a global leader in the development, manufacture, and supply of safety products that protect people and facility infrastructures. An example of this might be the gear that you see on a firefighter. This semester, a team of students is studying one of their manufacturing processes to identify sources of scrap and recommend ways to reduce it. Finally, our Berg Center Diversity and Inclusion Fellowship allows students to be enrolled in a project course on organizational leadership and work in small teams with a local small to medium-sized enterprise or nonprofit. One of our more recent projects looked at developing customer personas and go-to-market strategies for a wearable mobility technology startup based right here in Pittsburgh. However, we also have programs that get you out and beyond campus that we showcase on the next slide here. For example, the Bridge program helps you attain purposeful and career-enhancing project management experience while providing support for community-based partners. During your 8-week program, you and peers work with a local community partner to assist with developing and implementing a solution to a complex challenge our partners face daily. A great example of this is a recent project we completed in summer 2025 for Allegheny Health Network, which focused on one of their comprehensive care clinics. The team was asked to calculate not only a fiscal ROI, but also a social ROI. That is, what are the ways that we as an organization can quantify our work, not only monetarily, but also the social impact of each dollar invested in this clinic. Secondly, our global research practicum really helps bridge what is happening globally to the Pittsburgh region. It's an opportunity to gain exposure to international business environments beyond Pittsburgh and how those themes and topics resonate here and overseas. One of our most recent overseas programs looked at our sister city of Glasgow, Scotland, and how innovation and growth can be compared and contrasted between our two regions. Beyond the traditional academic portfolio, we also offer a number of programs in what we call the co-curricular space, which is illustrated on the next slide here. I will note 2 of these programs on this slide. First, our professional development weeks are held during 1 week in the fall and 1 week in the spring semester. These are dedicated conference-style weeks of programming, allowing you to augment the learning taking place in the classroom with a series of sessions and workshops. Recent sessions have explored technical programming, such as advanced think cell and project management fundamentals, to workshops that improve your resume and help you manage your next career move. We also have 2 certificates that you can earn and put on your resume. The Inclusive Leadership Co-Curricular Certificate Program offers you a focused opportunity to explore leadership through the lens of intentionality, empathy, inclusion, and strategic awareness. Here you examine how inclusive leadership fosters environments of trust, belonging, and ethical decision-making while supporting mental wellness, work-life balance, and long-term success. Our Professional Pillars Essential Expertise for Business Leaders is a program that focuses on building expertise in 3 areas: emerging technology and data tools, business communication and team development, and innovation and creative management. We also offer opportunities illustrated on the next slide, such as case competitions, where you work with a group of students on a team competing for the best solution to a business-related case study. Within a short time frame, you must read, analyze, and prepare your solution to the challenge. Case competitions test your critical thinking skills and hone your teamwork and interpersonal skills as you work with your colleagues to develop your problem solution and presentation. Finally, you might ask yourself, what do you as a student gain from all these experiences? Well, from a professional development point of view, these are all opportunities to enrich your resume while in the program. But you're also building and enhancing a wealth of transferable skills that will help you post-Pitt career. This includes such key skills as communication, problem solving, tolerance for ambiguity. As one of our recent MBA graduates noted, I learned the importance of storytelling when working with clients. I learned how to go beyond just presenting data in order to focus on clearly showing the value we're adding and aligning recommendations with the client's goals. And speaking of your career development, I would like to hand off to my colleague, Jen O'Toole, our Associate Director of Career Development, to discuss how our career development and employer engagement team supports you while enrolled at Pitt.
Thanks, Bill. Welcome, everyone. I'm Jennifer O'Toole, the Associate Director of Career Development here. And, you've heard about the many opportunities to become involved in experiential learning. And as we move forward, I want you to look at that, think about that statement. Employers don't hire experiences. They hire people who can articulate the value of those experiences. And so I want to talk about how the career development team helps you to do that. So take us to the next slide. So you're going to be doing a lot of things, case competitions, internships, but the truth is that employers won't understand what you did unless you translate it in language that they understand. So let's think about these 2 statements. We have a student that completed a case competition, and they're listing that on their resume. Which of these statements is in employer language? The first one says, participated in a 5-member team on a consulting project for a client. Well, that's true. That's factual. Now let's look at the second statement. Led a 5-person team analyzing supply chain inefficiencies, recommending solutions that reduce costs by 15%. This is a statement that explains the same thing the student did, but it's articulating it in a results-oriented fashion, and it's given in a way that is speaking an employer language. So the second option is what the best way to communicate to employers. And the second statement is also written very intentionally by what's called the STAR methodology. So on the next slide, we'll talk a little bit about STAR. STAR is the global standard for how to articulate your skills and experiences and accomplishments in a way employers understand. And trust me, by doing it this way, you will also build in your confidence because they are factual statements that demonstrate your skills and accomplishments. So let's look at STAR. S is the situation, which is give us the context. Maybe it's a case competition or an internship. What were you doing? The T is the task. So what was the challenge in front of you? Or what were the goals of the assignment that you were given? The action is very important because it's talking about what did you do to reach those goals. And even if you were part of a team, you want to talk about what you did, not the team. But the most important part of STAR is the R, which what is the result of that action? And here you want to choose an outcome that's positive and quantifiable. Now, doing this takes some time and practice, but on the next slide, we'll talk about how the career development team can help you do that. So we actually start working with students in the summer before they begin. We want you to start intentionally over the summer so that you have a competitive edge. And so we look at students, and I want you to think about yourself. Are you a career starter? Maybe you're somebody that has you're just starting in your professional career. Maybe you have about less than a year experience. So you're starting new in your professional career. Perhaps you're a career switcher. You have experience, but you're looking to change industries or functions. So you need to learn how to translate what you've done, coupled with your academic program, into what you want to do next. Or maybe you're a career advancer and you're looking at going into the next tier within your job function or industry. Each of these buckets has their own career development plan, unique to what your goals are based on your background, what you bring, and where you want to go. And so you will be working with a dedicated career advisor, as I mentioned, in the summer before you begin. And that career advisor will be with you during the entire process in helping you navigate resources, overcome challenges, and build your network. But we also have what I like to call a secret weapon at Pitt, and they are our executives in residence. Our executives in residence, or what we call our EIRs, are senior level leaders across multitude of industries. They have led global organizations, and they are here to help you work strategically on your career. Subject matter experts in various industries to provide one-on-one mentoring and coaching. And so you have an entire team working with you from day one to help you reach your goals. But I want to show you one more thing. On the next slide, I'm going to show you some of the resources that we have that are also readily available to you. In the top left is an online platform we use called VMOC. This is an online resume optimization tool. And when you upload your resume, you actually get a percentage score back out of 100%. How strong is your resume and ready to be used for meeting employer expectations? So you work through VMOC, and then you'll meet with your advisor to review those and make sure it's finely tuned to the careers that you're looking for. We use the STAR methodology with resumes as well. So once you create that resume, then it's great to use that information to update your LinkedIn account. At Pitt, all of our students have free LinkedIn Learning, which is a great way to fill in some gaps that you might need in your own skill development. While you're on LinkedIn, we want you to connect with our LinkedIn alumni groups and employer partners. And then we'll have you look at the middle, big interview. If you've ever conducted a video interview as part of an employment screening tool, Big Interview mirrors those systems. It's an online mock interview process where you'll actually be asked questions and receive a recording of your responses. And it's so cool. You can choose it based on your industry. You can even choose how difficult you want the interviewer to be. You'll get feedback and suggestions, and your advisor or EIR can actually review them and give you real-time feedback as well. Pitt Commons is what I call LinkedIn for Pitt. It's an online platform to connect with Pitt alumni from all over the world, which is a great opportunity. And then on the right, these three resources are really designed for international students looking to work in the United States. We use these tools to identify the top employers that provide sponsorship, get more details on those kinds of positions, and how to use OPT and CPT in addition to Pitt's International Services Office. And then Vault is a career city guide. So it helps you identify companies and learn more that are in different cities and learn more about those cities. So all of these resources are at your fingertips. But I will tell you that the best way to connect to employers for your internship and job is on the next screen. And this is networking. I'm going to go over some statistics for you in case you don't believe me. Did you know that 70% of all jobs are filled through personal and professional networks? And they asked employers, and they said that referred candidates are hired at a rate of 34% versus just applying online job boards, which is 2 to 5%. And you might think to yourself, well, why? That's where the jobs are posted. Well, Forbes in 2025 said about 30% of those jobs you see online are fake or inactive. What does that mean? Well, it means maybe they're are in the process of interviewing or they've extended an offer, or we've even heard that some employers are posting jobs to give the illusion of their growth when it's actually not happening. And so networking at Pitt, we help you with that as well. In fact, this month we're starting Panther Perspectives. It's an event that we host every semester to give you an opportunity to connect with our alumni that are all over the country. And these virtual sessions, you can talk to an alumni and really ask them anything. Learn about the company they work for, their function, their career trajectory, or sometimes it's just simply talking to them about their academic program at Pitt and saying, what did you do to fill in for experiential learning? And how did you find your first internship? Alumni that participate in these want to connect with our students and they're happy to do so. But we also partner closely with our alumni office. They host events and our alumni network is incredibly active, both on LinkedIn and Pitt Commons, where we have a graduate business subgroup. And in addition to that, we want you to connect with employers. And we do that by hosting virtual and in-person career fairs, information sessions. Oh my goodness. And I neglected to talk about Handshake on that last slide. Handshake is our career platform where you can connect with employers. Thousands and thousands of employers will post jobs and internships and virtual sessions and informational sessions on Handshake. So we really do provide a lot of resources for you, but I will tell you that they're only as good as how you use them strategically. And so I'm going to turn it over to Gina to talk about how to access those and learn more about our programs.
Yes, thank you. So we hope you're really excited about the opportunity to join us here at the University of Pittsburgh. And I just wanted to touch upon some of the programs here that we offer in the MBA and MS realm. So you'll see the full-time MBA, our master's programs as well. But if you add business analytics onto most of these degrees, it becomes STEM designated. So I know that's pretty attractive to some of you out there in terms of STEM designated degrees. We're happy to go into more depth about the programs, and in a couple slides, you'll see some upcoming sessions where you can learn more. But we do have our international final deadline around April 15th. So, again, we're a couple months out. If you have any questions, our team is more than happy to help answer questions about the application process. Finally, as I mentioned, some upcoming events. March 3rd, we have our application workshop. In April, an information session. But throughout this time, you're able to connect with our team for one-on-one chats as well. So I know my colleagues are busy handling the chat. They, I'm sure, are putting our email address into the chat as well. So, feel free to reach out to learn more about the program, schedule those chats. We are here to help you. And with that said, it is time for our alum to join us. And it's Akshay Agarwal, class of 2024, so fairly recent grad and currently working at TikTok. And I'll turn this over to Lauren Akshay. Thank you.
Thanks, Gina. And Thank you, Akshay, for joining us. It's, first of all, very nice to see you again. And again, we thank you for giving your time today to chat with me and to talk with some of our prospective students about your experience here at Pitt Business.
Of course. Good
So,
morning. Good to see you again.
good to see you. To kick us off, we'd love it if you could just kind of give us a brief overview of your background before Pitt, your experience here in the program, and what you're doing now.
Yeah. So prior to joining Pitt, I was working at Oracle for about 4 years after my undergraduate degree in computer science engineering. And at Oracle, I was a senior cloud consultant, providing tech solution consulting and implementation solutions. Uh, However, at the 4 year mark, or probably at the end of the third year mark, I started feeling like my uh, job was more technical in nature and I was not really involved in making business decisions. And that's why I wanted to kind of pursue an MBA. And that's when I decided to pursue an MBA and I applied to a lot of institutes across the globe. But what stood out for me for specifically UPIT was that uh, I spoke to a lot of alum and I just felt like home here. Even talking to them just felt very warm talking to the alum from this particular university. There were other factors that I considered as well while considering Pitt for schooling, but yeah, that was probably one of the biggest reasons why I chose this particular university. And post my MBA program, I have been working, which is their e-commerce company, as a strategy operations manager within the product space in the customer experience team. And my day-to-day is basically coming up with strategy. Uh, Post that, I also worked with Siemens Energy during the robotics fellowship. Again, a very interesting problem statement. The group was given a problem which Siemens itself did not have the bandwidth or the capacity to solve for. And once we started doing impact analysis for that particular problem, they realized how big that problem was. Uh, and again, these kind of problems are very ambiguous in nature when the clients are talking to you. So that kind of helps you prepare well for dealing with ambiguous situations that will happen in real happens on a day-to-day basis, even now at TikTok for me. So those kind of experiences kind of just give you that confidence that you're good to handle ambiguous situations. I also participated in the bridge program, which was again very interesting. Again, a real client program project or a problem, and just the all these kind of programs allowed me to deal with ambiguous problems. But along with that, all of these were group projects, so to say. So that also kind of allowed me to speak and engage with other people within the group to understand what their thought process is, and then challenge each other to the hypothesis that we felt was the problem statement, and then scoping the project and then deciding the recommendations that we wanted to provide the client. So all of this includes or involves a lot of debating within the group itself, which is again a very good learning experience because you're not there to fight each other to say that, yeah, my solution is the best solution, but it's more like how can you collaborate with each other to come up with the solution that will best serve the client. So that itself is a very good learning experience, and it always helps in your real life job because you're always going to be working with multiple stakeholders, and yeah, it definitely translates really well to the real life job. uh, I had joined a couple of clubs at Pitt. One was the consulting club, and I was part of the SEB as well, which is the Student Executive Board. Again, both of these experiences are how can you engage with external stakeholders? How can you get their attention back to Pitt, and how can you leverage them to help the current students itself. So that also was a very interesting experience because you get to talk to alum that you might have not connected with. You get to organize events, specifically when you're part of the student executive board. You get to kind of organize a lot of fresher, ice-breaking parties, and farewells and fall balls and spring flings and stuff like that. So like all those kind of events also were very interesting because you get to test your organizational skills in that sense. Again, dealing with a lot of stakeholders, a lot of approvals. All of these processes are very similar to what happens in the real life. So yeah, all of those experiences really helped. I would also like to add that I participated in a lot of case competitions, which was again a very, very interesting point that was brought up earlier by uh, Bill. I think I participated in IBEC. I participated in the case competition that Crane conducts every year. And so all of these case competitions, again, very similar to the programs that I described earlier. You get to work with groups, coordinate solutions, recommendations, scoping of projects, and deal with real life client problems.
Great, thank you. I'm surprised you had time to sleep at all while you were in the program. You did all of that and also, succeeded well academically. So, certainly it seems like you really took full advantage of these applied experiences that we offered, and that they enabled you to, gain and practice skills in things like client and stakeholder engagement, analytical skills and problem solving, as well as interpersonal skills in working in those group environments. So sounds like you covered all the bases. Would love to know, kind of in addition to those applied experiences, then how you leveraged our career resources as you were then job searching and looking to kind of, make that next step after your MBA.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things that was very beneficial for me was, again, I think it was mentioned by Rebecca earlier, was the executives in residence. The ARs are really a wonderful resource that CATS provides its students. Right from when I joined CATS, I started scheduling calls with them first to kind of uh, improve my resume, because the resumes that you use, at least for me specifically coming from India, the way we kind of structure our resume is very different from what the resumes look like in the US. Specifically doing an MBA and showcasing how the employer can see the value from the work that you've done previously. And so for me, that was a big step. It's can ideally work in the US job market. So EIRs helped me with kind of reframing and rewording my resume better uh, based on how it really works. Uh, while actually responding or while actually applying to these jobs, and how can you set yourself apart. So that was there. And the other element was the preparation of the interviews itself. Again, EIRs were very handy here, where uh, I actually started preparing for interviews even without getting the interview, because whenever I spoke to the alums, the main theme was that you can get a job interview whenever uh, luck has its say, right? Like it could just come in 2 days, it could be in 2 months, but uh, you don't want to be caught off guard that you suddenly got an interview and then you have absolutely no time to prepare, and then you are panicking, and then probably this is one of those few opportunities that you got. And so you want to set yourself up to succeed in the limited opportunities that you get to interview with employers. And so my thought process was to keep myself prepared even when I was not getting the interviews. So just having that kind of preparation with EIRs before the interviews, during the interviews, And in fact, even when I got the job offer letter, one of my professors or the courses that I had taken was related to negotiations. And then I leveraged him to kind of talk to him as to how can I negotiate better with the offer letter as well. So like it was more of an end-to-end cycle, I would say, where I try to leverage whatever resources at least I was aware of, because there's going to be a plethora of resources and no one is going to really force it on you to use those resources. It's just that individuals need to decide which resources work the best for them. And I think this particular flow worked really well for me. It might not work well for everyone, but everyone has the ability to see the resources that are available to them, and then they can decide which resources they want to leverage.
Thank you. I love that piece of advice of, it's up to you to, make it for yourself in terms of figuring out what are those best resources out of everything that we have to offer, and kind of being strategic and kind of putting together your own game plan, and knowing that, we have our career advisors as well who can help you put together that game plan and look at all those resources, and figure out what's going to work best for you. So thank you for sharing all of that. I'm going to end with one last question, which is kind of more of a fun one. So obviously you participated in so many different things in the classroom and these applied experiences, in some of your leadership roles in student organizations, with different social events. What was your favorite memory from your time here as a student at the School of Business?
I think an MBA program has always, even before I joined the MBA, whoever I spoke to, told me about the MBA being a program of making connections and networks and just building those lifelong connections with people that you study with. And like you mentioned, all these experiences that I had tried to leverage, that CATS had to provide, I wanted to throw myself within each of these experiences to see where I shine the best. If I had just stuck to one particular experience, I would have kept myself siloed to that particular experience. So I just wanted to throw myself in the deep sea and see how well I swim in each of these different situations. And each of these different situations also allowed me to interact with just different people all the time. So like over the course of 2 years, I'm pretty sure I met, spoke, and even worked with more than 100 or even 200 people together, right? Like I was able to make those connections with all those people, understand how they work, what works for different nationalities, maybe what works for different kind of people, all of these things really help you in the workplace, because you're going to be dealing with a lot of different kind of people coming from different places. And that to me was a really good experience overall. And all of these experiences obviously take a lot of your time. So like burning the midnight oil at Mervis was my favorite memory. Just uh, hanging out with my peeps at Mervis, understanding how we need to deal with the rigorous schedule that we have during the MBA program, crying with each other in the pain that we had to go through, but also having fun while learning new things. So like all those things really were my favorite memory. But I think post that, the cherry on the top was that I got to speak to my batch at the commencement speech. So for me, that was also a memory that I really cherish, because I got to kind of sum up my entire MBA experience on behalf of my cohort, and that was really nice.
Well, thank you, Akshay, so much. It was a pleasure having you as a student, and a pleasure getting to talk with you today. And thank you so much for sharing about your experience and your memories with all of the prospective students on the call today. I'm going to now briefly hand things back to Sabahat, I think, for some Q&A.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much, Laura. Thank you so much, Akshay. Actually, thank you so much, everyone, for that wonderful and insightful presentation and for covering so much. I'm sure, as you can see with the number of questions that had come in, that students were really enjoying the session and engaging with the session. I'm going to request everyone to stay around for a little bit while we answer some of the questions that were already, I'm sure, previously answered. But I'm going to take up a few common ones which a lot of students usually ask. So it's beneficial for everyone involved. Great. So let's start by talking. I know we've spoken in breadth about this, but let's start talking a little bit about the career resources and supports available especially to students who are coming in from India or abroad, when they're stepping foot on campus? I mean, what should they expect? How should they sort of prepare to ensure that their career development, the resources that they are being provided, and being job ready by the time they're ready to enter the market?
Well, I just like to say you just don't have to be prepared, because that's what we're here to do. We're here to help you assess what it is you want to do and then research how to do to get there. So there's no dumb question. There's no wrong question to ask. But I think what's helpful for students is to just have that kind of in that thought about where do they see themselves going when they walk across that stage. What do they want that job to be? And then we'll work backwards from there to develop what kind of skills, what kind of experience-based learning do they need to accomplish, what kind of network do they need to begin establishing, so that we can work with students early on. We found, as you heard from Akshay, the most successful students are the ones that network and connect early and use resources early and often.
Great. That's a great piece of advice, Jennifer. I mean, make sure that you're making most of the resources from the day you get onto campus. One piece of advice I would give is, don't wait till the end minute. Don't wait till you are in your final year and then be like, oh, I just have a few months. Let me now get in touch with the careers team. So make sure you're getting in touch and making use of all of the resources. With that, as Jennifer mentioned, once again, Akshay, thank you so much for joining the call today and for sharing your experience. So talking a little bit about Akshay and the alumni network, we know that Pitt has a very strong alumni network. So let's talk a little bit about how can the alumni sort of help a student's journey right from the time they're thinking of selecting Pitt as their destination to study abroad, to all the other ways in which the alumni have been helpful to students in their journey.
Sure. So we, as you mentioned, have been consistently ranked as having one of the best alumni networks, one of the broadest alumni networks of all business schools. And we leverage that in a number of different ways, both in the experiential learning realm. So a number of the things that Bill talked about earlier are supported by alums. So they may be kind of hosts for projects. They may serve as coaches for the project teams for students. We also offer on the career side a number of different opportunities to engage with alumni. So we have connections with alumni who serve as recruiters and hiring managers, but also we have opportunities like our Panther Perspectives program, where alumni give of their time to meet either one-on-one or in small groups with our current students to provide them kind of short-term mentoring and career guidance. So these are folks who have been there, done that, they've done it successfully, and they're able to work with our current students to provide them that perspective and that guidance to help them find their own success.
Great. Thank you, Laura. Akshay, anything that you would like to add? I mean, you've done it all. You've been that Indian student who's gone on the other side now and become an alum with Pitt. So anything that you would like to add?
Yeah, I think one of the things that I initially was not aware of related to networking is that it's not really an important skill, at least when I was back in India, was not that important as a skill. And so it requires some time and effort to actually learn how to network. And the way I at least got about started with it was completely wrong, because when I started doing these networking events, attending events and talking to alum, the mindset which I had gone into the conversation was more on, okay, how can I talk to them and convince them to give me a referral for a job, which is okay, it's great if you get that and stuff like that. But that's the approach that I used to go with. But post my internship experience, which was probably end of first year, and once I had that internship experience and when I started talking to people within the company that I was working with and just generally gauging how networking really works in the US, I kind of changed my approach completely to networking itself. It became more conversational and more understanding of what they actually do in their day-to-day lives, and just being actually curious about uh, what the job that you are looking for. So, for example, I was looking for a product management role. So I started connecting with product managers to understand what their day to day looks like, what is it, how is it different within each of these different companies, and just started having more generic conversations on that particular role itself and how it differs between different countries, between different companies, and Also, just understanding, for example, a very basic example would be how AI is influencing uh, the job. How are they interacting with AI? What do they see as potential use cases of AI? So, like for the example, these are the questions that I was very curious about how AI is changing the product management landscape. So I started having those conversations without having zero intent of getting a referral from them, and it just ended up being more conversational in nature. And we went back and forth on what I felt versus what they felt, and so on and so forth. And so a very interesting thing happened once I got my job at TikTok. I think I did not. The first person I told about the offer was one of the alums that I had connected with in the on-site that we had in Austin through Cats. Uh, Not my friends, but one of the alums. So that's the kind of connection I was able to build with that person, just having those natural conversations rather than having that inherent intent behind in my head that, oh, I want a referral, right? So like just that change of intent was really helpful.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Akshay, for sharing your story. This is wonderful. They truly, it truly means when they say that your network is your net worth. So yes, alums for life. And of course, always feel free to reach out to any of the alums and the team, and they'll be more than happy to help you. The next question that I'm going to take up is something which usually comes up, and I'm sure we've covered this, but let's talk a little bit more about the scholarship options available, especially for Indian students who are looking to apply to this.
Yeah, I'm happy to jump in and talk about scholarship opportunities. So we actually don't have a separate scholarship application process. So all students anybody who applies is automatically evaluated for scholarship opportunities. And we have a holistic admissions process for the graduate programs, and what that means is we're very curious about your story, who you are, what your values are, what your curiosities are. So well beyond just your test scores or those maybe the GPAs, those very hard metrics. We look at who you are as a person, and what we're trying to assess is, are you the type of person that's going to be able to really do very well with the resources that we have, and also are we able to help you in your career search? We piggyback our scholarship off of that. So our holistic merit review, meaning that it's not just the person that has the highest GPA or the person that has the most years of professional work experience. Is this person really fitting within our program? And those are the people that we try to support the most. We do in our MBA space, full-time MBA space, we typically scholarship around 30 to 40%. That's our average. Our MS space is a little bit lower than that. It's a shorter program. Students get through a little bit quicker, so we don't scholarship as much in the specialized masters.
Great. Thank you so much, Rebecca. That was super helpful. Also, to everyone who's tuned in today, you are eligible to apply for the Seed Scholarship Fund. The University of Pittsburgh is also offering 2 scholarships award for anyone who's looking to apply for their full-time MBA program. So you can log on to our website and get the details there. But yes, you are eligible to apply to those scholarships as well. Since you've attended the session today, you are now eligible. So go ahead and get that done. Great. I'll move on to my next question. Bill, you spoke a little bit about real world projects and classroom learning. Can you give us some examples about the kinds of projects that students have worked with in the past, which have really sort of helped them before entering the job market as such?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think Akshay alluded to this in some of the work that he's done, but one of the things that we've done a lot more recently is partner with some of the small to medium-sized enterprises in addition to larger enterprises here in the city. And some of these clients and projects that we've worked with have sort of been a blend of sort of technical and business skills. So as Akshay alluded to in his project that he worked on with Siemens, for example, they were looking at financial analysis of some of the data that the company had, and looking at, do we continue to rent out or own these certain entities that we have, or should we sell them? We've also done ones that have been looking at integrating sort of AI into companies' workflow. So we did a project with a local manufacturer that was looking at how do we leverage AI to look at projects we've done in the past that are similar to what the current customer is looking at. And so the team actually was able to sort of dive in to sort of these, sort of their ordering system and looking at their engineering specials, as they referred to them, and thinking about, how can we leverage this technology to better align our sales and product delivery. So I think what a lot of our projects, we span a lot of disciplines, but it enables you really to kind of stretch, whether you're joining us and interested in marketing, whether you're interested in product management, whether you're interested in finance, you really kind of get a blend of those opportunities with the clients that you're working with here in the region. So it's a great way to enhance your resume and a great way to gain experience maybe in a field that you're looking to transition into.
Great. Thank you, Bill. That was really helpful. My next question again is from some of the questions which have come in about typically what is it that you look for in a profile, especially with international students who are applying, with Indian students who are applying. And the second part to that question is, do you accept students from India who come in with a 3-year undergrad versus a 4 years undergrad degree?
Yeah, so I'm happy to answer these questions. I'll start with the second one. That one's a little bit more straightforward. So the 3-year degree really depends on the equivalency. So typically, if you're coming in with a 3-year degree, we ask for some kind of third-party equivalence assessment, like a WES evaluation. And if the WES evaluation indicates that this is equivalent to the standard bachelor's degree in the United States, then we do accept it. So it's really case-by-case basis. And then I want to touch on, your first question about what are we looking for? So that's getting back to the holistic admissions. Again, of course, we want to make sure that you're going to do well in the program. So we want to make sure that you have that academic readiness. But beyond that, we're looking at traits, individual, characteristics and traits and fit within our program. So that's things like, so if we're in the MBA space, that's things like leadership and initiative. So even if you don't have formal leadership experience, what things can you point to that demonstrate that you have that drive or you have that initiative? Maybe it's things that are, more informal. Maybe it's sports-based. We want you to talk about those various activities because it doesn't have to just be in a professional setting to show us that those are traits that you do have. We look at things like collegiality. Are you going to contribute to our cohort in a way that is going to help everybody learn together, learn from each other? We want to make sure that, it's very important that the students, work well together. We want to make sure that you have those traits as well. We look for things like resiliency, growth mindset. What have you gone through? What's your story? How has that shaped what you want to do with your life, and how is that going to inform what you do while you're with us in the program and beyond, right? So it's not just, again, we're not necessarily looking for only that shiny, polished application that has the great GPA and the high test scores, whatever it may be. We really want to get to know you, and sometimes there's stories that really illuminate those characteristics that you learn through maybe a non-traditional path, and we want to know about that. So take the opportunity to write about that in your various essays that you have. We have required essays, but also optional essays. So take advantage of that. In the MS space, it's very similar. We're looking for things that we're looking for the student that's really going to apply themselves, take advantage of all the resources that we have to offer at the university, engage with our alumni networks. These things are consistent between the MS and the MBA. One thing that's a little different between the MS programs and the MBA from an admission standpoint is work experience. The MBA is really designed to leverage past work experience. When you do have work experience, it helps you take advantage of various learning opportunities, apply the knowledge in a different way, and really propel you for an MBA career afterwards. Whereas the MS, that work experience isn't as necessary. In either case, we want to see that you have a plan. We want to see that you have career goals. So again, tell us about what those career goals. Show us that you understand how this program is going to help you get to those goals.
Great. Thank you so much, Rebecca. That was helpful. And I'm just going to take one last question before I let all of you go. This is more around electives. So students want to know, how flexible is the curriculum in terms of elective choices? Can students sort of customize their own electives? Do they get that opportunity?
So I'll go ahead and take that one. So yeah, we have a variety of different electives available to students. So obviously, there's the core curriculum, but the remainder of the program is really up to students to make their own. And I always say it's what takes it from it being an MBA degree to it being your MBA degree. We also offer a variety of micro-credentials and graduate certificates in different business functions, as well as kind of different frameworks. So things like innovation and AI for business. So students are able to use their electives within their degree program to earn those micro credentials and graduate certificates. So it's nothing that they have to do kind of above and beyond in terms of credits with their degree. In order to get those, they can use their electives to really customize and get those additional credentials that, again, are going to set them apart in that job search and help them to get to really where they're going for their individual goals. And one thing that we really pride ourselves on is how our academic advisors and our career advisors work together to advise students through those decisions. So it can be overwhelming to look at all of the electives and all of the credential options that we have for students. And so every student has an academic advisor assigned to them and a career advisor assigned to them. And those individuals work together along with the student to really intentionally and strategically customize that educational experience.
Great, great. Thank you, Laura. Thank you so much, everyone, for answering all of those questions, for giving us all of this information. And thank you to everyone in the audience. We still have around 225 of you who stayed back to the end. So I'm sure the session was super helpful. And I'm also sure it will give rise to a lot of questions and queries in your head. But please feel free to reach out to the team here at University of Pittsburgh, or reach out to us at Seed Global Education, and we will guide you to them. But I hope today's session was super helpful to all of you, and you've managed to get most of your questions and queries out of the way. To the team from Pittsburgh, thank you so much for joining us on this wonderful Wednesday. I wish you a great rest of the day. And to everyone in India and everywhere, wish you a great rest of the evening, afternoon, wherever you're joining in from. And don't forget, University of Pittsburgh is having another masterclass with us in the month of March. The details will be coming up on the website soon. So please do sign up for that and get more information while you can out of that session as well. With that, I would like to bid everyone a good evening and thank you. Bye-bye.